Good morning. There was quite a few different things that came out on the situation with Hamas and Israel overnight. Some of the information that has came out pretty much corroborates what my suspicions were, and we'll be going over that. So, when it comes to events around the world, right now, undoubtedly, this is the powder keg with the most potential to blow. And so I think we do need to pay close attention to this because it could spiral out of hand really quick. I mean really, really quick. So I've got several articles up. I'm going to start off with talking about Iran. Of course, as you know, Iran's been long known to back Hamas, among other groups of similar nature. And so, not surprisingly, a lot of people suspect that they have something, regardless of how big or so small, or how small, that they've got something to do with this. And I can't tell you whether they do or whether they don't. I'm not one of those people that's going to throw my emotion out there as fact. I don't know. I have no idea. And anybody out there that's telling you that they do don't have any idea either. However, their UN mission, their what do they call that? Their UN mission, their envoy, I was trying to think of the word envoy, has claimed that there is no involvement. And I've got 4 articles up. I will link them all down in the description and the first comment. Let's go ahead and take you on over there. The first article that I have up for you says Iran's UN mission says Tehran not involved in Hamas attacks. Okay. Article goes on to say that their mission on Sunday said Tehran was not involved, and it says the resolute measure taken by Palestinian constitute a wholly legitimate defense against 7 decades of oppressive occupation and heinous crimes committed by the illegitimate Zionist regime, Iran's UN mission said in a statement. And that's the fact. That's true. But it goes on to say Iran has made no secret of its backing for Hamas, funding and arming the group and another Palestinian militant organization, Islamic Jihad. The Hamas assault on Saturday, the biggest incursion into Israel in decades, coincided with the U.S.-backed moves to push Saudi Arabia towards normalizing ties with Israel in return for a defense deal between Washington and Riyadh, a move that would slam the brakes on the kingdom's rapprochement with Tehran. So, there's a lot of moving parts here that we have to consider when we look at this situation. It's not all just about the Palestinians. It's not all just about Hamas. It's not all just about Iran. But it's a culmination of these things that this is really a bigger part of. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next. I mean, it's kind of interesting what I've got here. You'll see. So this is Iran's version of what went on. Not Iran, RT's version of what went on. It says here, Tehran has denied accusations that it helped Palestinian militants to plan the surprise attack on Israel that was launched on Saturday morning. The decisions made by Palestinian resistance are fiercely autonomous and unwaveringly aligned with the legitimate interest of the Palestinian people. Iran's mission to the UN said in a statement to the media, "We are not involved in Palestine's response, as it is taken solely by Palestine itself." On Sunday, the Wall Street Journal cited several sources, including unnamed members of the Hamas and Hezbollah militant groups, as saying that officers from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had helped to plan the attack on Israel since August. It also gave the green light for the operation at a meeting in Beirut, Lebanon, last Monday. A Ghazi Hamad Ahmad spokesman told the BBC that the militants had direct backing from Iran. However, Ali Baraka, another Hamas official, insisted in an interview with NBC News that Tehran had not been notified about Operation Al-Aqfad beforehand. It was a surprise to everyone, including Iran, he said. So who's telling the truth? Well, there's no real way for us to know with any certainty. I don't know. There's just a lot that I have to question with this attack. How in the hell do you set up that many missiles without being seen doing it? You know? I know a little bit about aviation. I've flown with powered paragliders. And not only would they be so super easy to take out of the air, but you know, it does take a little bit of prep. It does take a little bit of doing to get them up in the air, because you got to make sure that your wing, which most people would think of as a parachute because that's what it looks like, but it's actually designed, a parafoil is designed much different than a parachute. Okay, a parachute's just so you don't crash into the ground. A parafoil is more so that you can guide it, you can steer it, you can control it, you can, you know, they've got brakes where you can slow them down, stuff like it. Well, I guess a regular parachute's got the brakes too, but they're designed differently because they're actually designed to move forward, you know, to actually keep moving forward. But they're also designed to be a little more resistant to collapse and stuff like that. Just totally different design for the purpose. Nonetheless, it does take a little bit because you have to get the parachute out. You have to, you know, get everything all connected up, ready to go. And then you have to lay out the parachute back behind you, because when you take off, I mean, that's it. You're going to start pulling the parachute, and if it's not spread out right, and if you're not pointed in the right direction according to the wind, you know, it can be a very problematic getting them up in the air. So how they could have amassed so many people doing that and not be seen in the process of doing it, you know, there's just a lot of stuff here that just really kind of doesn't mesh. Well, the next article I have for you, and again, I'll link all 4 of these articles down in the description, says Hamas duped Israel before devastating attack, says Reuters. It says a Reuters report has claimed Hamas duped Israel while preparing and executing its surprise raid into Israeli territory on Saturday. The news agency spoke to insiders on both sides of what Israeli officials have described as their nation's version of a 9/11 intelligence failure. I wonder why, as the news first started coming in about this, I wonder why my thoughts went to 9/11. My thoughts went to Pearl Harbor. I wonder why. Because it just seemed like this situation rhymed a lot with those situations. So I thought that was really interesting. So, it says here, attack had been planned since the Israeli-Palestinian hostilities of May 2021, in which Hamas was a major player, a source close to the radical militant movement claimed in Monday's story. So, absolutely mind-blowing. Seeing right here, it says, the lighting offensive on Saturday involved Hamas firing 3,000 rockets to overwhelm Israeli air defenses and enable a hang glider incursion over the Gaza border wall, the source said. The advanced force secured the area to provide time to breach the fortification with explosives. I don't know if anybody used hang gliders or not. What I have seen are powered paragliders, and they're the... Oh gosh. I think there's yet another name than that, because the powered paraglider is pretty much just the guy that straps the big fan on his back, right? From what I have seen that they have been using, or that they had used in this attack, it's a cart that you're in. It's a 3-wheel cart, and basically your airfoil, again, you might think of it as a parachute, your airfoil, you attach it to the cart, and you know, it's just like a little cart. A lot of them are two-place, so you got a spot for a passenger, Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And it gives you a little bit of a different power paragliding flight, you know, because you're actually setting down in like a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a little trike go-kart thing, right? To where if you're just standard power paraglider, like your feet are your wheels. So, but anyway, that's, you know, I hadn't seen any signs of hang gliders as they're calling it, but that may just be a, you know, simple overlooking of language there. And lastly, I've got this article for you, which I think really sums it up, right? Doesn't this happen every time? Israel was warned something big could happen. It says here, Egypt warned Israeli officials that Hamas was planning something big before the Palestinian militant group launched a major attack at the weekend, an intelligence source in Cairo has told the Associated Press. The source claimed that despite the warning of trouble brewing in Gaza, Israeli officials instead focused on the West Bank, as most of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is made up of supporters of West Bank settlers who have demanded a security crackdown in the area. We have warned them an explosion of the situation is coming, and very soon, and it would be big, but they underestimated such warnings, the intelligence source said. Egypt has often served as a mediator between Israel and Hamas. The AP noted that the Israeli government has also been distracted by rifts over Netanyahu's controversial judicial overhaul plans. The Prime Minister reportedly ignored repeated warnings from defense chiefs that an initiative was sowing discord among the Israeli security forces. Just insane. It even says right here, the situation unfolded in Gaza has been viewed as a catastrophic failure for Israel's intelligence services, which were previously believed to have eyes and ears throughout the Palestinian exclave. I'm sure that they do. I'm sure that they do. Again, an attack on this level, on this scale, involving some of the methods that were used. I honestly really do have to question a lot of it. A lot of it. Anyway, keep your eyes open, folks. Keep them peeled. If any of the powder kegs on this planet have a real chance of going, and going in a hurry, it's this one. I fully think that this is where we need to keep our eyes right now. So, we'll see. All we can do is pray. Pray for peace. It's all we can do. Anyway, I just wanted to bring you this stuff. You make your own conclusions on what you think's going on. I'll just say it's very, very, very familiar, and it almost seems like deja vu. Shalom.